can I interest you in a infinite floating ball of death build using the Grimoire? What's good, folks? It's WARFRAME here with a new WARFRAME video coming at you with an Ivara Grimoire DPS. Now, this is actually a funny build that was shown to me by one of my viewers. Since he's an Ivara main and is completely obsessed with Ivara, he needs help. Anyway, so he showed me a funny where you can have the Grimoire's alternate fire permanently be up as it flies around, killing everything in sight while it armor strips. Yeah, you heard me. If we take a look at the Grimoire here, I just have electricity, and this is going to be my main damage, and that's all you need. So what's so special about electricity? It's an instantaneous AoE damage over time that can hit heads. And what is one of Ivara's main specialty? Having a headshot damage multiplier, thanks to her prowl. The main way that the Grimoire's alternate fire remains floating and killing everything in sight is thanks to her Navigator and her Navigator augments. With this ability, I'm able to take control of any projectile and even some abilities. Everything about the Grimoire is a projectile, its main fire and its alternate fire. The Navigator augment gives every weapon a base of 10% crit chance. This is applied before mods, and it grows each time it hits an enemy, capping out at 50% crit. And the reason it's able to hit multiple targets over and over and over again is thanks to that punch through that is given from the augment as well. And as long as Navigator stays active and travels, it increases in its damage multiplier. And that's not all. I'm also increasing the damage of this weapon yet again. So we just went through two types of damage multipliers, headshot damage and the Navigator damage. But then we also have a crit damage increase thanks to her empowered Quiver augments. Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Making the Grimoire, which everyone hated for DPS, into a floating ball of doom that kills everything in sight while it armor strips them. And my Helminth ability is actually quite neutral today. Empower, that's it. It gives me 50% strength on the next ability cast. And I only have one Archon Shard. That is the Crimson Shard to give me 10% strength, so I can round out my strength to 209%. My focus school is Matarai for power transfer, giving me casting speed, but most importantly, sling strength for that juicy 40% strength. Let's have a look at the Grimoire build. Now, this looks very weird. Very, very weird. Listen up. We don't have any base damage mods. And for the Arcane, we just have rank 0 Cascadia Overcharge. We want it at rank 0 because it bugs out with Navigator if it's any higher. So we have our faction damage, multi-shot, Netra's invocation, alternate fire increases my efficiency. I'm going to have max efficiency on Ivara and also using Netra's invocation, because the more efficiency you have, the less the drain you have on your abilities when you're at negative duration, because the Ivara build is a negative duration build. So stacking up all that duration reduces the drain on both Navigator and Prowl. And Yahoo Canticle, killing enemies reduces the armor and shields of other enemies within affinity range. Affinity range. Just think about that. That's 50 meters. You have a crit chance, crit damage, and of course we're getting even more crit damage from empowered Quiver. Suppress so we remain invisible. Lethal torrent for some fire rate and some additional multi-shot. But for all of this to make sense, let's go to Steel Path so I can show you how it works. So you saw the Grimoire build. I didn't have any base damage because the base damage is coming from my Warframe. Arcane Precision gives me 300% base damage on a headshot. And since we're always hitting heads, hey, it's an easy Arcane to trigger. There is a downside to that Arcane though. It cannot be refreshed. So as long as your death ball is floating and triggers electricity hitting the heads, it's easily going to re-trigger once the duration is out. And since I'm using Matarai, I'm going to start off with 2 Void Slings. And these 2 Void Slings give me Sling Strength for the bonus strength, of course. I'll cast my Empower and then Prowl. Prowl gets a bigger damage bonus. Okay, let's look for enemies. This is a decent spot right here. Okay, I'm going to cast Empower again and my Quiver. Get on the Quiver, alternate fire, and then press the second ability. And then your fire button. Fire button increases its speed. And notice I have overshields, and that stacks up my Cascadia Overcharge for even more crit. And you'll start to notice something real quick. enemies will slowly start to lose their armor. And notice all that crazy damage that I'm dealing. Yeah, this is a... Oh, there you go. No armor. Dead. They just instantly disintegrate. I love it. And this ball is up here indefinitely until I run out of energy. And of course, I am out of energy almost. And it's still continuing to deal damage. Let me just go pick up some life support and energy. Let's set up our wire in a better position. So, casting power again. Quiver. Okay, perfect. Let's shoot a bit so we can charge our meter once again. Alternate fire, second ability, and increase its speed. Look, ma, no hands. Dead, dead, dead. Oh, that's a nice group of enemies right there. And you see how our panzer is spreading viral everywhere? That also increases my electric DPS, since they're armor stripped and they'll take more damage to their health. But the only downside is you're stuck in one spot thanks to the dash wire. But it's kind of AoE, you know? All right, here we go. Eximus, look at that health and that armor. Instantly stripped. Disgusting. All right, we got Acolyte coming in. Oh, crap. Oh, they can't see me. That's good.
Extraction is ready. Void manifestations drawn to this cursed place of stolen lives. They will drain your life support unless they are destroyed.
All right, Acolyte comes. We're just going to deal with her right away with the glaive because screw him. But yeah, as you can see, it shreds the Thrax. It shreds Sentience. And of course, it shreds everything else. Quick rundown. Our Helminth ability is Empower for the 50% bonus strength. 1 Archon Shard to give me 10% strength so we can get a nice juicy round number of 209%. Base damage is coming from my Warframe. Cascadia Overcharge, not max rank. And of course, to kill Acolytes, I have the Glaive Prime. Very simple. It's just for one single charge attack and boom, they're dead. And melee exposure just to give it some bonus corrosive if I do cast an ability, which is good against the Acolyte's armor. The Ivara build. In the aura, I have Growing Power for the 25% bonus strength after I proc a status effect with my weapon. Prime Sure-Footed because spending less time on your butt. It's a huge DPS increase. Efficiency at 175% thanks to Streamline and Fleeting Expertise. This is very important because we're negative duration. And yes, Prowl and Navigator have insane requirements for their drain. Here, look, we have 2.4. Remove Streamline, it goes up to 5.2, thanks to the negative duration. However, here's another funny thing. Notice when we put something like Boreal's Hatred, that drain per second goes down even lower. Same with Prowl. Okay, but now why do we need Augur Reach? Simple. We just need to have one Augur mod, so when we cast an ability, we get overshields, so we can proc our Cascadia Overcharge. On top of that, the range is not bad because it increases the punch through on Piercing Navigator as it scales from range. The augments Empowered Quiver for the critical damage on the dash wire, and Piercing Navigator for the punch through and critical chance. Again, negative duration is also important so we can build up our Navigator damage multiplier even faster. And that strength is coming from Growing Power, Transient Fortitude, and Umbral Testify. Of course, that one Archon Shard as well. Prime Flow for the large energy pool because, listen, we want to be in our Navigator as long as possible. Arcane Precision for my base damage on my secondary. As long as I get a headshot, this procs. And the best part is, AoE Electricity triggers headshots. Arcane Energize for some energy, return, and income. For my pet, I'm using the Panzer Phyla so it can spread viral. It does this very passively, very good. And on top of that, it increases my combo thanks to Swipe and Viral Quills and Tandem Bond. As the combo counter goes up, I get a nice juicy one-shot on the Acolyte. And don't forget your Tenacious Bond for the additional final critical damage. So yeah, this is the Grimoire Ivara Death Ball of Doom. AoE electricity, consistent headshots, armor stripping, and just everything dying in sight. You saw the damage. And also, thanks to Viper, the Ivara main. For those who wanted a new, funny shenanigan type of Ivara build, try it out, see what you think of it. Anyway, folks, that has been it for me. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe for more Warframe content, streams, and so much more. Do refer to the description. Thanks for watching, and as always, a peace. Bye-bye now.